Does the school district reimburse the city for utilities or anything with it?
We have an interlocal agreement with the Clark County School District, so we don't do that. They pay for their own paint and striping and manpower to be able to put their events on. But we have the facilities there, and they've been great to work with us when there's been a conflict. For instance, when the long drive was here, they came down and actually used the rec center fields. And so.
Just need to make sure that that goes back to the school also. If we need to use their facilities and they're not using them, we can use their facilities also. So it's a reciprocal use agreement we have with them.
Okay. Still have a question about that, or did that answer it?
No, it's just if people start talking about where to raise more revenues. In other venues I've worked, when the schools used municipal facilities, they paid for it, as well as still doing all of the labor to dump the trash and clean it up and so forth. It's a public entity, it collects tax monies.
Yeah, we have a great relationship with them. I think Clark County, with us being a part of that massive school district, I think it's worked out really well for us. They bring people to town, and every team they play is from out of town, so that helps with us also.
Your name? Could you state your name, please?
Nick Montoya, I'm with the City of Mesquite. On that, paying the fees, if there's a specialty need that the school needs, like heating the pool, they cover those costs, the school district. If we go up to use their theater and we need to have a tech, we'll pay for that tech. If there's specialty costs involved with that, those fees are paid.
Just one other thing, if it's all right, Madam Chairman, I'm sorry. The city does use other facilities from the school, classrooms in some of the elementaries and at some of the other schools. So in that reciprocal agreement, it's not just what happens with the high school, it's what happens in the whole area. So that's why that reciprocal agreement has worked so well, because what we're dealing with is we're trying to do what's best for our kids. And I think the city thinks that's important, and I know that people in the education thinks that's important. And that's the goal that we're trying to accomplish.
The only reason I mention is because I don't know where your group's going. And if you need to increase revenues, sometimes it's better to look at increasing the upper users just a little bit instead of making poor grandma kind of one shoes cut.
You know, along that same vein, if you use a retail model for it, you look at, how does a company make more money? And you have a finite number of customers, and you only have so much money in their pocket. So you have strategies that not just increase the number of customers that you have, but every time they come, increasing the amount that they spend per purchase, or increase the frequency of purchase. And what we've experienced this year with the rec center, our membership is down slightly, 4%, but our revenue is up because more people are participating in fitness programs. And so we have more revenue as a result of that without having to hurt the everyday person coming in and how they use the rec center. As the committee takes a look at the fees, we might take a look at all the market conditions that we have here. Our median household income, according to the American Community Survey, this past July was $44,415. Our median age was 50.4. I wrote that down here somewhere. So when we take a look at that, we look at a lot of the tournaments we have coming in. Sure, we have senior softball and we have senior games and those events, but a lot of the tournaments that come to town are youth. So,
Madam Chairman, there's someone right back
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry. Yes, your name, please?
Cliff Hughes. I'm here kind of wearing two hats tonight. I'm administrator at the high school. Also, if you want the history on the fields, I was the one that started the tournaments years ago. Just a couple of questions that what am I going to... First of all, I want to thank the city for working with the high school. And I think if we were to start to compare whose facilities the most, I think we benefit more than you guys do. We appreciate it, your willingness to work with us, those kind of things. As I was here from the inception and I'm listening tonight, I guess one question is the city changing their philosophy on what these things are for? I mean, you mentioned that we want to get people to town, we want them to do this, we want to do that. Now, has that philosophy gone out the door? I can give you some history on that too, but I won't. Is that not the reason why? Is the reason why we're having this? Is we now want to recoup all of the money that we put out to provide the things? So that's one question I have: is that philosophy changed? Is it important still to get people into town by people on the outside using those facilities? And I mean, I used to run 16 tournaments a year. I'm down to 2, and this is probably going to be my last year. I don't know. I've got to make that decision. But there's been a lot of changes throughout the years, and so I guess the question I have is the philosophy changed? Is the reason why we're convening this committee and discussing things because the philosophy is no longer it's important to get people here to have an economic impact on our business and those type of things. It's more to recover the cost of that the city has to put out to provide these kind of things.
That's a great question, and every time I look at the plaque at the Pioneer Memorial Park, and I see that early vision. That has been our vision. Is the reason why we do this. We're trying to get more tournaments here. We're trying to have the tournaments that we bring here to be larger. Not that the small tournaments aren't valued and needed. We're trying to get more and more people interested in Mesquite through the you'll watch on the Golf Channel on Wednesday night. Our theme is, this is where athletes compete, and I have not heard anything. To answer your question, I have not heard anyone tell me that was not an important part of it. That's part of the early vision of Mesquite, that we can benefit the community by bringing in these people, and until I'm told otherwise, that will be our kind of guiding philosophy. There, at the top of the page where we talk about the mission, providing for the health and the welfare of the community, that not only includes the physical health, but the welfare, the health as far as the economy. And our principles, until I'm told otherwise, is that we'll be inclusive and that we can be affordable, that we have a clean and safe environment, and that we have healthy and socially engaged citizens. And we can do this. The world is sport, and you don't have to be an athlete to enjoy the benefits of walking on the trail system or using our parks.
Didn't you ask the council the same question that Mr. Hess just asked? I don't recall you getting an answer though.
No, I have heard many people, and Mr. Hughes needs to be commended for what he's done for this community. And bottom of my heart, I've seen it over the years driving through Mesquite. I saw the benefit of that. I know that from personal experience, that's what Mesquite was known for. Those softball tournaments that got people here, and then the long drive brought those people here. That's been our guiding philosophy up to this point. Right now we're studying cost recovery. I don't hear anything different. I think they just want to know how we're recouping costs. Are we being responsible with how we spend money, how we use it? I take a look at our percentages, and we're well above the national average. When I just go ahead and jump ahead real fast, our rec center is about 68% cost recovery. 1/3 of all the parks and recreation departments don't expect more than 20%, and the average is more about 45%. That tells me we're doing more with less. We're doing more with fewer employees. We're working them harder, and I think we're seeing a lot of benefit from a lot of hard work. And I think. I go ahead and thank Cliff, but I also thank Nick for the years of service he's given to our department, and the vision, that connection with the community. And I would venture to guess that most of the engagement on a daily basis with the community, when you have 90,000 paid admittances to the rec center on an annual basis, that shows a substantial interaction with the public. We have 2,200 members of the rec center. Either an annual, a 6-month, or a monthly pass holder. That's 13% of our population.